Okay, thank you. Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I think I can see you without my glasses better. Anyway, this is the June 10th meeting of the Open Space Committee. Before we begin, I have to say a few words. This meeting of the Open Space Committee is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20, I must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, excuse me, and if so, to please make their presence known. Seeing none. So let's begin with just introducing ourselves. I'm Ann Kennedy, I'm the chair.
Elisa Crowley, Barnstable Village.
Liz Lewis, West Barnstable.
Tracy Pratt, Santuit.
Doug Payson, Barnstable Village.
Kris Clark, Town Council Liaison.
Janet Milkman, Barnstable Land Trust.
Marie Rizzo, Cummaquid.
Kate Gulliver, Hyannis.
Ann Willand, Centerville.
Farley Lewis, Hyannisport.
Lev Malakoff, Centerville.
Jenna Zeno, Administrative Assistant.
Thank you very much, everybody. Also, I want to tell everybody that all town employees, boards, and commissions are required to read the state conflict of interest policy and participate in an online training every 2 years. I have asked the town council administrator to please give me a list of all of you that need to do that, and as soon as I am given that list, I will let you know. I'm sure. Yes, ma'am.
Update. If I happen to know that I have asked the same of the of Cynthia Lovell, our council council administrator, and I think within the past year, it's been that the state holds all the records, so it doesn't come to the town unless somebody prints out their certificate and passes it in. So you
Okay.
take it online, and it's housed with the state.
Okay, thank you. But she had told me before that she had that list,
Okay.
so I'm trying to get that from her.
Oh, it
And
was printed.
so if she doesn't have that list, I'll find that out too.
Her, I remember.
Sure.
doing that.
Yeah, if you,
Okay.
that's what I mean.
Yep.
We have to, how do I want to say, actively send it into her because she can't retrieve it because they're held electronic or digitally.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I'll try to find out on your behalf whether who hasn't done it and who has. Sort of, it's just one more thing for us to do in life.
Two things, conflict of interest and the sexual harassment.
I'm sorry.
I think there's two forms.
Sexual harassment and conflict of interest. It's very important that we do both. So, so what's next? Okay, next we have Miss Janet Milkman from the Barnstable Land Trust, and she will discuss the Santuit Woodland Land Protection Project Conservation Restriction.
Thank you.
welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Before you, we have a project, the Santuit Woodlands project, which is a new one for Barnstable Land Trust, and we're excited to be able to do it. It is going to protect about 6 acres on Falmouth Road between the Villaggio Restaurant and Capizzi. It's just a wooded lot right now, and it's adjacent to an existing Barnstable Land Trust property. You can see on the maps that were sent to you and also up on the screen, it is in the Zone 2 for water supply protection, and it came to our attention because there was a proposed 40B development, I think 34 units, which the water department, the Katuitt Water Board, was concerned about. And when that developer withdrew, we went and made an offer to the owner, which was accepted. So we have gone to the Community Preservation Committee for $250,000, which was approved. We've gone to the Katuitt Water Board and Fire District for $50,000. So they would co-hold the conservation restriction on the property. And then we are going to apply for a state conservation partnership grant for $300,000 of it and raise the remaining $30,000 or $40,000 of the project. It's, if we go to the next slide, you can see, this is a slide. Oh, I can't see where the property is on this. Oh, it's in red, yeah, thank you very much. So this shows already protected land, conservation land and water district land in pink, and conservation restricted land in yellow. So you can see it's a nice connection there between the property across 28 and the BLT property on Santuit Newtown Road. If we go to the next slide.
I want to go to the map and just point it out.
Oh.
The people at home can tell.
Okay. Well, here's a better map. It's easier to see, more clearly outlined. And you can see the connection to critical habitat area, which is in green. And we actually, just on Friday, learned that there is a certified vernal pool on the property. So that's really helpful to know and helpful for knowing where the particular conservation value is on that property. The two key conservation factors on that property are the vernal pool and the fact that it's in the water supply district, or zone 2. And if you go to the next slide, you can just see in this aerial, it's fully wooded. There will be a path. There actually are paths on it that folks have made already, but we will be able to connect it to the paths that are in the property just south of it. That BLT owns that conservation land there. So it'll be a total of 12 acres of trails, neighborhood access trails, and there will be parking. I'm not sure exactly where it will be, but potentially near the not substation, the electric building there on the corner of the property. There's room to pull off of Santuit Newtown Road. So the access wouldn't be on 28, it would be on Santuit Newtown. And there might be one more slide. It just shows prime forest land, which it's just a state designation, and almost the entire property is that. And I think that's it for slides. We're excited. This project came together very quickly. We're really happy to have the support of the Water Board and the CPC. And we're hoping to go to Town Council for approval June 20th and July 15th, I think. So we would love your support.
Is there any questions from the committee to Janet?
I'm wondering about the public access. Will you connect Santuit Newtown Road over to Route 28 so people could walk through there? Is that a thought, or?
I don't think people will want to be accessing it off 28. It's enormously busy right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you will be able to get basically all the way over there on trails. So you'll be able to access the entire property with the trail.
Well, at some point in a more progressive time, maybe there'll be a multi-use path or sidewalk along Route 28.
In which case, it would be perfect.
Yeah, that
Connect.
someone could access that.
Yeah.
Dream on, Doug. So is there a name to this particular conservation
Yes,
area?
thanks for asking that. It's called the Santuit Woodlands.
So that is your conservation, is that what the whole
That's what-
area is going to be called?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Right now, this property that we own already is, we just call it the service property because that's where it came from.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of naming the whole thing Santuit Woodlands.
Yeah, makes sense if you're going to have connecting pathways.
Okay, and that's SERVIS. That's the name of the property that.
SERVIS?
That's the name of the property that we own. Service family, people probably know well, yeah.
So, okay. Are there any other questions? All right. I would like to entertain a motion to recommend approval to the town council. All right, is there a second? Any discussion further? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Good. All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another good
Madam
project.
Chair, just before Janet leaves, because we're going to have a discussion about Cape Cod Pathways later. And
Okay.
So I was wondering if you could just, in a brief sentence or two, what is the role of BLT regarding Cape Cod Pathways? How do you see your organization keeping that thing alive or maintaining it or helping it out?
Yeah, we are, and I think have always been in a support role on that project. I think it was led for a while by the Cape Cod Commission, and we love that project. That's why we made the trail map for it. And we would love to be helpful in, keeping it, making it a more supported set of trails in the town. But we can't be a lead on it. And
My understanding from Grace Grace Rogers, that they are working with Barnstable Land Trust to come up with a stewardship program, or do I have that wrong?
that may be an idea that's been discussed. If that were the case, it would have to be funded. Our work on that would have to be funded. It's definitely needed.
Yeah.
And we would be happy to build or find the capacity to do it, but we can't just, we can't use we don't have the capacity
Yep.
as it is to do it.
I think, what was my understanding of that? You used to have a stewardship program that, what was her name, Kelly?
I'm the last one left.
Yes.
mean
Doug was
for
on that, Farley was
pathways?
on that.
Yeah.
For pathways?
Yeah, we met at BLT's office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Farley was on that, too.
Will Holden was the actual person who got that started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that met relatively regularly, and they had stewards for each area, and it worked very well for a while. And I thought there was an effort to get that back together.
Yeah, it would be great to have it.
In support of that, I was walking on the Treasure Trail the other day, and a man was on a bike, and he stopped, and he had the BLT Pathways map, and he said, is this going to take me out to a road? And I said, yes, and I routed him so that he could be on the red trail and head all the way to the college. But, so, just to know that people are using those maps, and this was really in the middle of the woods, so it was, that was really encouraging to me. And there are a lot more different people walking now, I see them all the time. There are people I don't recognize
Yeah.
on the trails.
Yeah. Since COVID, people
There's a
are on the
tremendous
trails,
number of people
so,
walking.
yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the changes to the routing at the community college and at the state forest across by the Y. And I don't know if there's a mechanism where the brochure can become updated to match what's on the ground now, or how that, I don't know if there's funding or you had a grant or something like that.
Yeah, we got special funding for it, so it's the printing that costs a lot of money, and, it needs to be updated periodically, but I didn't realize it needed to be updated so soon. But, having the map on the web for the town, on the town site, I mean, periodically there have been, maybe there still are pathways maps on there, maybe our map is on there. They could definitely put our map on there, and if someone wanted to fund it, we could change, we could make the changes. Or the GIS department, I'm sure, could do it too.
Right. So maybe not a printed version in the short term, but
Right.
if the map file can be adjusted to
Yeah.
reflect the new reality,
And I
that would be
would-
great.
I would just suggest that, it's a phenomenal idea, and it should be Cape-wide. And that is fundable, It just needs someone who has the capacity to take the leadership on it.
And Cape Cod Commission did, and they sort of said, here, Barnstable, at one point. So that's how we got it as a committee. So we're trying to keep it going in Barnstable anyway.
Yeah, well, we applaud you for that. And,
Yeah.
and I would just say, like those trails, the other town trails also need support.
Yeah.
So having a plan and a direction around that would be
Well,
terrific.
we have been lobbying for, like, there is a property manager of buildings, to have a property manager of land that would do that, would work on pathways and would keep, because our Conservation Commission is regulatory, basically, and that's what they do, and they really don't have the resources or people to keep the paths open, and that's what we need, somebody and funding and budgeting, just to concentrate on that.
Yeah, and there's no staff
Advocating that.
role for land protection either, land acquisition, really, so.
Yeah. Before you go away, is there any development on any of our outstanding CRs? The only one I can think of right now is
So
Wheeler.
close. We are really close. We have 2 of them back. We're just waiting on the final one.
Which two?
Um,
Are you talking about our Harju and Emerald? Or
Prince and Harju. Okay, so we have Prince. Emerald, I understand, is off the table for the moment because I believe that the town attorney found that one of the abutters actually owns a part of the,
how many years has it been? I mean,
That's like a
really,
10-year.
years. And we're just like, oops. Okay, so I'll follow up on that
but
one. I have.
yeah, I think we're
Thank you.
really close. We may get that done in the next, we may get that done this year.
Yeah, so Prince is back and Harshu's back.
Well, no, we're waiting on one of them. I think it's Prince. We have Harju. We're waiting on Prince.
Okay.
pretty
From
sure
the
that-
state.
Yeah.
So is there a problem or?
The usual problem of their not having enough capacity to.
I thought they were in better shape. I thought they were doing outside counsel.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They've staffed up.
So how about Wheeler? Where are we on Wheeler?
Yeah, we're on track to close possibly next week.
That's really significant.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. So I will get a letter off on behalf of the committee in time for the town council meeting.
Great. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're just going to segue right into Cummaquid Woods. So we have with us Marie Rizzo, who is a member of the Cummaquid Woods, Save Cummaquid Woods Association, and I asked her earlier today if she had an update, and she does, and it sounds like some movement.
I think so.
I asked her if she would not mind coming and giving us an update. So the
Okay.
floor is yours.
So since we were here last time, we met with Janet Milkman and Kelly Grant of Barnstable Land Trust, and they were very helpful in giving us some direction and some advice, and so for that we're very grateful. And then on May 20th, the Community Preservation Committee reviewed a letter of intent from the Barnstable Fire District concerning purchase of the 2.7 acres at 153 Oakmont Road. And this is the land that's directly adjacent to the 10 acres that's already owned by the Barnstable Fire District. And so the letter of intent was then moved to the application phase by the CPC. There was also discussion about the land on Oakmont being a potential future well site at that meeting, and the possibility of maybe acquiring enough land to accommodate the 400-foot radius that's required for a well. Tomorrow, there is a meeting of the water commissioners, and we are on the agenda, or the Oakmont properties are on the agenda, so I don't know, I can't tell you what's going to happen at that, but that's another step forward. So that's my update.
Well, that sounds very good. I personally was planning to, on my own behalf, write a letter of support for the water district. So I was wondering if the committee was interested in having the committee write a letter of support, and I would be glad to do that on your behalf. Is there any feeling about that one way or the other?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is it Cobb Trust land?
Okay. The land that the Barnstable Fire District had the letter of intent about is not Cobb Trust land. They are on opposite bookends of this whole property. From what I remember from the CPC meeting, Lindsay Council brought that up, and there was discussion, and you can maybe further that. But anyway, so my understanding is there's interest in both properties from the CPC and and maybe the Barnstable Fire District. But I don't want to say what I don't totally know.
Yeah. You missed the last meeting, and we had a presentation.
I apologize.
There are several parcels that were woodlots, and a couple of them are privately owned. One of them's recently purchased by a developer who died, and then it now is in the hands of another developer. And then on the other end of that is the Cobb Trust land, right?
Can I correct that for just a
Yes,
second?
please.
The land that was owned by the developer, purchased from the Barnstable Housing Authority. After he passed away, it went into probate, and now I believe it's not a developer, actually. It's his daughter who is selling the land. There's no developer.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
Yeah, there's no developer.
And so I'm going to have to recuse myself on that little piece.
Just as a recall from the CPC meeting, which I attended, I think there was a feeling that the property would need a appraisal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I didn't want to say what, okay, I didn't take enough notes at the meeting, but yes, there was discussion about having the land appraised. So, as I said, I probably will know more about that tomorrow at the Water Commissioners meeting, but I don't want to speak out of turn when I don't have the information.
Yeah, I think it's a valuable piece of land for water protection. We do need affordable housing. I don't think that's the place for it. There's no real support as far as there's no real municipal support in the area. And also, I mean, I think what would end up, you would have more market rate housing there instead of affordable. So do we need more market rate? I don't know. So, but anyway, that's my feeling. But as a committee, I don't know how you feel, so. Anybody want to express their thoughts? And you.
Water. We need water. We need water.
Okay. All right, Doug, I know how you,
Oh, no, I think it's a good idea to buy it. It's in, I live in the Barnstable Fire District, so, and I know there is an issue of not enough water.
Yeah.
And I think any kind of high-density housing should be within walking distance of a village center. That's where it belongs.
yeah,
So,
I agree with that. So any other discussion? So Marie, we will, yes.
Jenna's got the maps up.
Is it?
Oh,
yes.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Doug.
There you go.
So the fire district is protected, the for sale 153 is what we're talking?
Yes, yeah, do you want me to, yeah, go ahead.
The other one, 87, is Cobb's, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And as you can see, the land next to 87 is town-owned.
Yeah. So there was discussion of cobbling those together for affordable housing. I'm not sure that's a great idea, but that's been the discussion.
It's a remote
So,
area.
but the other two in the middle are privately owned. And one guy is relatively, is he a developer, one of the owners?
Oh, no. No, not at all.
In the privately owned ones?
No, the one to the right of one, so you've got the one in Green, Barnstable Fire District, and the next one is the 153, which is the 2.7 acres that went in front of the CPC. Next to that is land that was originally owned by Matthew and Daniel Cobb, and Matthew Cobb, and I always get them backwards, but one of them died first, and I think it was Daniel Cobb. Then, just prior to his death, he deeded it, willed it in his, my mouth doesn't want to work, deeded it to someone who, I don't know their relationship, but that person lives in Poland and has just, never, we don't even know if he's ever seen the land. Beside that is belongs to, it's almost 3 acres, and you see a structure there. Yeah. It's a smaller house toward the very road side of the property. He originally planned to apparently build a house for his son. The son wasn't interested, so nothing else has been done with it other than that property at the front, and I believe it's his grandson who stays there periodically now. So at this point, it doesn't look like there are any real developers involved.
Okay, I see. So really, the threatened parcels are 153, 87, and 105. So,
I don't know that I'd say 105 is particularly threatened at this point.
well, it's owned by the town of Barnstable.
That's, okay.
Municipal use. So, so are there any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay. All right, I'm going to get something off before the Water District meeting tomorrow.
Okay, I have a question for the
Yes.
committee.
Yes.
At what point again, based on not knowing what tomorrow will bring or what, other possible meetings will bring, at what point does my group submit an application? And maybe you and I can email back and forth as things progress, and I can.
The application goes to the community preservation.
Right.
And so whenever you're ready to talk about partnerships as far as money, because they're going to ask you
Right.
If you have any other resources to participate. So I think maybe that's when you We reached out to the town manager also and to Lindsay to find out if this is even
Right.
in play.
Right.
So I know that there has been discussion between the trustee of the Cobb's Trust and Lindsay. So I think Lindsay Council is the one you would approach and say, when is a good time for us to,
Okay.
to express our interest?
All right.
Okay? And then we'll be supportive at that time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay. Thank you. You're very welcome to stay or leave or whatever you'd like to do.
Well, thank you all for listening.
Thank you for coming, short notice. I don't know what all this is. Okay, where's my agenda? I think we're going to talk about Centerville.
You want to do the
Cranberry
minutes at
bog.
some point
I know,
before we forget
I was
minutes?
thinking about that.
Do what?
too. We haven't approved the minutes
Oh.
yet.
That is quite high up on the agenda. I hadn't gotten to my agenda because I was worried about the people that were here visiting. Okay. So, do you have an agenda? Thank you. All right, so let's have a motion. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes of May 13th? And if so, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, so we had our review and discussion of the Santuit land. We've had our update on Cummaquid Woods. Okay, so I have on the agenda update on Centerville Cranberry Bog. And maybe Kris could help us out with this one. The town council received an email from one of the principals in that committee, Mary St. George, talking about their concern about the, there was a discussion at town council about open space, correct? And there was an acknowledgement that the opportunity was missed for the acquisition of the Jenkins Bog. And so what they are really asking us to do, or the town council to do, is to talk about a policy regarding 61A, 61A, and 61B, and because we don't have a policy in the town of Barnstable, there is a state law, 61A, 61B, that gives the pattern of action that's supposed to be taken when a 61 land is offered for sale. And on this particular case, that process was not completely done. The seller attorney notified the town manager, but there was no other notification beyond the town manager, and the law specifies that it should be reviewed by several boards, including the planning board, conservation, and I think in our case, the town council, that suggests the selectmen, but in our case, it would be town council. And that, of course, was not done because the understanding, I think, by the town manager at the time was that it was the policy of the town council not to want to acquire further open space. So I think that was one reason it didn't go further. And he made the decision that the town was not interested in purchasing the Centerville Bog. So, and as a result of the hoopla that happened after that, it was the intent to create a policy on behalf of the town. And I think the legal department was working on it. And so I think now is a time to try to reactivate that interest and try to see where that stands with the legal department at this point, and the town, whether or not the town has developed a policy. And my intention was to reach out to the legal department, to Elizabeth Jenkins, to other people in the staff, and to ask where this was in the process. And I just wanted to let you guys know and to ask for your backing on that. Kris, do you have anything to add?
No, I did not bring the copy of that message, but it...
Right here.
Yeah, thank you. But in essence, what Chair Kennedy said is right, that all counselors were copied on this actually well-written letter to draw attention that the Cranberry, the Centerville Bog proposal for acquisition did not follow proper procedure. So it's time to prompt the town staff to develop a procedure so that it can be clear and perhaps on the website for in various places on this committee's website and perhaps a conservation department's website and planning that this is the procedure once someone wants to sell property that has had the benefit of tax relief for 61A being recreation, agriculture, and 61B being for recreation.
Right.
So in exchange for that tax relief, the town has first right of refusal, but has to act within 30 days, is my understanding. So there are a lot of new staff in town, a lot of new counselors, so they might be naive about this protocol, and we need to codify it and make it clear to not only each other, but to the public.
There's currently at least 15.96 acres of 61A land in Barnstable, and altogether over 700 acres of land that is protected. And our open space plan clearly states on page 70 that these properties are dedicated to an agricultural or recreational use. Any change in their status would require a repayment of property tax relief provided under 61A, and any proposed sale would also trigger the town's right to first refusal. These requirements are delineated under Chapter 61 of the state law and require notice to the town manager and several other town boards and committees. So this was clearly not followed in this case. Although it's stated in an urban space plan that we should follow a policy, we don't have one. So we're urging the staff to consider
Would you like a motion?
proposing.
Would you like us to vote a motion for the,
Yes, that would be wonderful, Lev.
I'm not sure how to phrase it, but I so move what you just said. What you just said.
Well, I'm so glad you agree with what I just said.
Whatever you said, yeah. It seems like there's-
Motion to authorize chair to communicate with town staff
Yeah,
to determine,
to encourage a
to
policy.
encourage the development of the policy regarding 61A and 61B.
61A, 61B.
all
Yep.
this time.
You got that, Jenna?
Horrible motion.
All right, so that's a very elaborate motion that
Second.
needs a very elaborate second.
I second it.
Okay, great. So is everybody in favor, or does anybody object? Okay.
I would just like to add, I think it's important that we communicate that it be a more public process.
Yeah.
That it does not appear to have been a public process at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yes, because, yes, I think that to defend our town manager. I think the message that he had was that the,
Don't buy any more land.
yeah, that the policy of the town council at the time was different than it is now, so.
And
So,
may I suggest that when you write your suggestion, you copy the town council president, because all the councilors were copied on that. And might I suggest, because I shared it with you as chair, that you share it with Jenna and the rest of the committee.
I'm sorry.
Share that, or forward that email message.
Okay.
That
I
came-
thought maybe I had. I didn't, okay. Surprise. Okay, so I did forward the geocaching though, didn't I? Okay. So, all right, I will make sure that this is copied to everybody, so you all have it. Okay. Okay. All right, so, do you want to lead
it my
our
turn to
discussion
say?
on geocaching?
Well, last that I heard from the local enthusiasts, they are going to be applying to John Gleason for permission at the Hathaway's Pond. 'Cause
So there is.
I have not seen a policy from the town. I know it's,
There is a draft floating around, which I sent out. It is a draft. It has to go to the town manager. The town manager is the one who implements this kind of policy on town land.
I'm not sure everyone got.
I don't think I saw
I
it.
didn't see it.
I didn't get a draft.
I didn't send you the geocaching?
No, the email I got was from Grace, but it didn't have
An
any
attachment?
attachments. Yeah.
I thought it did. All right, so I will send the draft, rather than talk about it now. I will send the draft around. And what I would like people to do, please, is if you have comments or suggestions, that you give them to me, because I'd like to compile a response and have everybody's input into that response. So, rather than have everybody bombard Grace. So I would like to thank Grace for working so hard on this. She apparently did a lot of research. I am going to try to find out what other towns she associated with when she made these, created this draft. I think Mashpee was one, but I'm not sure who else was involved. So I'm going to, yes.
I actually had an email reply from Grace regarding that, anticipating this discussion this evening. And Grace, who is our property manager
Yeah,
for the asset management division for the town, said that...
talk louder, please.
Sorry. She said that some of the resources that she reviewed to draft this policy was geocache regional policies. This includes policies from all over the Commonwealth, USDA Forestry Service, Department of Conservation and Recreation, and the town of Mashpee. And then she wrote she's not certain how many towns have a geocache policy. Town of Mashpee advertises the recreational activity on their website, and she's been researching, just to let you know.
Yeah, so that was quite a lot of research on her part. So thank you very much, Grace, for that. And I have another thing from Grace later on about Santuit. Okay, thank you.
She does make a point here. In addition, open space does not have the authority to grant approvals for geocaches. On the application, there are a few that note that the geocache has been approved by the Open Space Committee. However, town staff holds the authority to do such.
I didn't hear a word you
I'm
said.
sorry. Grace Rogers further says in her email message,
Well, that doesn't do anything but,
in addition, open space does not have the authority to grant approvals for geocaches. On the application, there are a few that note that the geocache has been approved by the Open Space Committee. However, town staff holds the authority to do such.
all right, so I'll talk to you later about it. I have no idea what you just said, so I'm sorry. So anyway, will you please give me your ideas, including that email. Did I get a copy of that email? Okay. All right. Okay, any other comments about it? No? So I would have loved to have some of the geocaching people involved in that discussion, but didn't happen, sorry. So, report from Tracy Pratt regarding Santuit. Grace also told me that the minutes were forthcoming, and the only real news was that they had to remove someone from the area that had taken up residence. So,
Have they removed him? Have they in fact done so?
yes, apparently they have. Why, is he still there?
The tent is still there. I took down some signage today,
Took down some what?
some signage
Oh,
stating that there were cameras there and whatever. He blocked a trail, so he's been there for over a year, I'd say.
you know, it's his home.
I haven't done anything because, he's there or he's going to be living in a box, a cardboard box in Hyannis if he's not up there.
Yeah.
It's very low key. And nobody notices him, frankly. So, I don't know.
That's not our decision,
No.
so.
No.
But anyway, any other news there? Anything?
Yes. The Barnstable side is getting very overgrown now. It needs attention. I don't know whether we can get structures and grounds in there. I'm going to try to get Tyler to do something about it.
So when you say it needs attention, you mean the
needs
trails
mowing.
need to be cleared?
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen the Mashpee side, they've done some cutting that side of the river and some other little things, but nothing's been done over on our side. So.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Sir?
Is there an update on the Herring Run reconstruction?
I've not heard anything about it.
There was at our last meeting, but I'm not sure what exactly. But the state representative is switching, so there's going to be a new state representative that's working in that area, but I'll get you an update. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are the minutes to the Santuit Preserve Management Committee public for all of us to see?
The meeting is public, so I would imagine the minutes will also be made public.
Can we all get copied on
Yeah,
the minutes when they come?
when I get it. So, yeah. Okay.
It would be nice to get them, like,
Pardon me?
it would be nice for me to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe within 2 weeks of when the meeting is.
Yeah. I think it's helpful to have, Jenna's very good at this.
Yeah.
She gets me the minutes within a couple weeks, so at least I might not do it, but I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's very helpful. So I appreciate that, and yes, that's what I would like to see happen.
Because they're not meetings on a regular interval, so we wouldn't know.
No, it's like once every 6 months.
We wouldn't know when
Right.
when the committee meets and what's going on. Thank you.
So, yeah,
You were there
that'll be the
last time
goal.
we met, were you?
Yeah, and that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
So the only other thing on the agenda that I would like to address is, or two other things, is Farley's report, if she has one.
Sure. I think everything that came up in the CPC meeting has already been covered tonight with BLT and the,
Marie Rizzo.
yeah.
Yep.
The Mills property, the CR is to be granted to the Mass Division of Fish and Wildlife. Closing is in the process of being scheduled. That's all that. I just wanted to do a quick update on the walking weekend.
Oh, sure.
And I think that, we had unfortunately not great weather over that weekend, but we did have, I think all the leaders that I heard back from seemed to be well pleased with, the people that turned out and, the walks that they did. So I think Lev has mentioned, and I know that this is something that we have to do, is to increase our publicity.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but I think people are, if the weather had been better, I think, we had great leaders, and we had, people that were interested.
It was a very good combination of walks.
Yes.
A lot
I
of
think so,
different
too.
things.
So I hope we can get some of
Yeah.
these folks back
Yeah.
again in the
Yeah.
fall, which leads me to the fact that Fall Walking Weekend will be the weekend, the Columbus, our Indigenous Peoples' Day weekend, which is October 12th, 13th, and 14th.
It's a really good time to do it. People are going to be here anyway.
Yes.
Usually the weather is pretty good.
Yeah, keep your fingers crossed. So,
Okay, yeah.
so hopefully we can get together
The fall.
and do a little bit of brainstorming about publicity. You've made some
Barnstable
good.
Patriot, I think, would be a good
Yeah.
place to.
Had any news outlets in the town of Barnstable would be helpful.
Yeah.
People see the, on their news feeds, something called Patch, Cape Cod News.
Yep, next
They've
door.
promoted other things before.
Yeah.
They popped up because it's,
Yeah.
in the Google News.
And CapeCod.com or whatever it is one of the radio stations' newsletter that's online. And so that has things like, it's very short usually, but
Well, and then best bets with the Cape Cod Times, but,
Yeah.
getting it in there is hard,
well, yeah, you have to do it within a certain time,
a
but
long time in advance, yeah.
I'm not sure if that goes digital too, whether it's just print. Because I know we've used it more in print in the years past.
Thank you very much, Farley, for all your work on that, because that really was,
To everybody who
yeah,
made it happen.
yeah. And next year, I'm going to go on one. I will be fit and ready, yeah.
I think if we want to get press, I think we need to lock up the commitments in August to feed it to the press in September, because October sneaks up on you right after Labor Day.
Good lead time on this. The brochure is ready like a month ahead.
Yeah, we did a good job with that,
Yeah, that was a
thanks,
great
thank you.
brochure.
Jenna.
Yeah, that was a nice, for sure.
And I had some items, I don't know if you.
Yes,
get to me on
yes,
purpose.
this is under Pathways, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's your turn.
Oh, it's time?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll go in the order of the, if we can pull that one up first, in the order of what's in the packet. It was great having Janet here, so I understand better that we are in charge, for the lack of anybody else taking up the mantle of overseeing pathways, Cape Cod pathways in the town of Barnstable. So I
wouldn't
just,
put it that way. I don't think we really are in charge, but,
well, if we're not, I would
be.
be curious to find out who is, because apparently that's always been unclear to me.
yeah, I think it's unclear to the town of Barnstable. I mean, that's the point, is that we need a land person who coordinates these kind of things.
Well, as part of that, I think having a body such as this to give advice to that
Yeah,
person
yeah.
would be helpful, because we come
Yeah,
here with a
yeah.
wealth of local knowledge. So in any case, the Cape Cod Pathways route through Barnstable, which is called Main Trail on many products, is shown in the world with these red triangular arrows that I'm holding in my hand. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So you've seen these posted at trailheads throughout the town. There's a portion of the route that travels through this part of, I guess it's Cummaquid, that passes through private property. So I'm going to back up a little bit with this concept. Since I sent it to you, I spoke with Lindsay Council, who is a big advocate for this effort as well. He really thinks that rerouting the trail at this point might be premature, and I would agree. Right now, we have the trail travels through private property.
Yeah.
And it's open for travel, but that could change at some point. If the people who own the property decide that they don't want to allow public access, it's their property. So I'd like to, I guess, look for support from this group to pursue the possibility of approaching the property owner, seeing if there can be an easement arranged so that public access can be guaranteed to remain in perpetuity. Because right now, like I said, it's not guaranteed. The rest of this concept was, what if that property were no longer available to cross? And that's what you're seeing in the sketch over to the right, which is to travel across Barnstable County farmland and then Water Department land and reconnect via a set of old disused trails going through the Water Department land back to the main trail. So it's not that this idea couldn't also be developed in concert, but it's really a question of, whether we'd want to pursue having an alternate route or just having access to these areas to encourage responsible users to be out there. Right now, there's a bunch of trash, there's a bunch of abandoned camps, but that's really going to be a question on getting permission from Water Department and the county, which wouldn't be automatic or necessarily easy to gain.
No, I think we started this process with Will, what was Will's last name, Farley?
Holden, yeah.
Holden, yes, with Will Holden and the guy that came after him. We did look into the county access. The commissioners at that time were not open to it, but doesn't mean they wouldn't be now. So I think it's worth pursuing the alternate. I'm concerned about, I don't think you should be approaching private owners for.
Well, I didn't want to do it myself,
No,
if that's
okay.
what you're wondering.
Are you talking about maybe Lindsay doing that?
Right.
Yeah, so Lindsay would be the appropriate person, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So getting easements is a good idea.
I'd like to mention, I stopped today on Mary Dunn Road, south of the Route 6 overpass.
Yeah.
And there is intense motorcycle use in there
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And to the point where the erosion is so severe, that is a state wildlife management area that is not being managed.
Yeah.
And if there were any kind of endangered creatures in the trail, they would be run over. And the Hyannis Ponds area was purchased specifically because of globally rare plants around the pond shore, and these motorcycles are ripping around that pond shore.
Yeah, I've actually
These are like
seen
dirt
them.
bikes?
I used to drive home that way, and I would see them. They'd cross right in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would
and-
call
and
the
it's-
police, and they would be gone by the time the police.
In this area, on the map, is really intense motorcycle use. And I think, we bring it up with the town and they have limited resources. I wonder if we should try to engage the state environmental police
They
because
should,
it's
yeah,
state land.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Between Mary Dunn and Willow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bike path will be extended there this year, and that may
Alleviate a lot.
expose more people
Yep.
to the
Yeah.
fact that there's a lot of illegal activity there that's very environmentally damaging.
Well,
I took photos too, if you want me to include them in the.
yeah, can you send me those? I will
Yes.
try to compose something to the environmental the appropriate people. I have to find out who that would be. But go ahead.
So I guess that's kind of the wrap on this this particular part of it. So if you feel like we should vote to encourage or to recommend to Lindsay that the town approach, begin the process of trying to acquire an easement.
Okay, I'd be glad to entertain that motion. Does anybody want to
You
make?
should be asking the town manager.
Yeah, I would ask Lindsay through the town manager, is what I would do. Lindsay ultimately is going to be the one that does it, so.
So,
I'll second that, if that's a motion.
okay.
If this committee feels this is a parcel that we should try to acquire by easement, then that's what we should do, is make that recommendation.
Right.
Okay. So who wants to make that motion?
I don't know, somebody made the motion? I'll make the motion.
Make the motion.
Yeah,
I think
I thought you
Tracy
already-
seconded it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to vote?
Yep.
I'm gonna abstain at this time, because I'm just gonna have to think about it a little bit. Okay? If that's the way that we want to go. So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay.
What are your reservations about asking?
Well, I just think, I'm not sure. Yeah.
You're thinking more
I'm thinking
process-wise.
process, yeah. So, but I will figure out that process. Uh, Taking your advice as far as going through the town manager.
Then the second thing I wanted just to share with you are the changes that have been finalized at the community college with the routing of the main trail. There is a map in the handout. You can see the red trail now follows, seems to be cut off a little bit there, but I don't know, maybe it's just the way the graphics displayed. But it's basically following the forest loop, which are shown in blue, to the north periphery of the campus. So the old Cape Cod Pathways main trail would follow, I guess, the road and the parking lots and all that. Now it's entirely within the woods around the north part of the campus. And likewise, the green south loop is also following the woods back around. So I'm not sure if everybody's, the printouts,
Sharing these,
here's the green trail.
Yeah, right.
have you been sharing these with Alicia Messer?
Several times, and thank you for forwarding that one more time to her. I've not seen any response from her.
Okay. I'm wondering if she, if it conflicts with what the town has as maps.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So if you pull up, Jenna, from our webpage, the walking library, and pick, where's our walking library? Okay, well, maybe. Well, there's a couple things in the walking library that show walks that originate at the campus and don't show the updates.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering if there's an issue with that. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, we did have Alicia here, and I asked her that question. Sounded like her work was being done only on town land
Yeah.
with her updates.
Yeah.
And although the maps that we have in our walking library also show the state land of the college, so I don't know why that would be a problem to update, but
All right, well,
not seen any action on that regard.
all right, okay. I'll find out with the,
But in any case, if we could just go back to this one. The thing that I wanted to get the committee to consider supporting would be to make a safety, is to recommend to the State Department of Transportation a safety improvement where the main trail crosses from the YMCA to the community college. Because right now, there is no
Crosswalk.
there's no crosswalk, there's no indicator, there's no to the motorists that people may be crossing here. This is not a reroute of the trail. That's where the crossing has always been for the main trail. But I think there's a lot of synergy between the YMCA and the recreation facilities at the college. There's the tennis courts, there's the soccer fields, the ball fields. You know, families might be at one activity and their kid might be wanting to go do an activity on the other side of the road. But right now, I think it's a pretty hazardous setup. So this is all under control of DOT. On the campus side, of course, it would be the college. And on the YMCA, I believe it's a town-owned parcel that the YMCA is leasing. So it's municipal land.
Now, is that one part of 132 state?
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's still part of the state, that's why Massachusetts Department of Transportation would be the ultimate project manager for that. So if the committee thinks that's a good idea, we could have a motion and vote, and then I could draft a letter for you.
Okay.
Because you got enough to do.
Yes, thank you.
to-
I agree with this, and as a matter of fact, I remember when I was a counselor and you were at the commission. This was one of our joint recommendations at that time, when you had a little committee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
way, way back.
yeah, so I'm with you on
Still
this.
ahead of here.
Yeah, okay, so does anybody, yes,
Thank you very much for, and I take it you created these maps?
Yes.
Thank you. I attended the public hearing that the Department of Transportation District 5 held over the expansion of the park and ride at what used to be Exit 6, and I forgot the name of the number now. And I did suggest that there be a broader view of the traffic in this area, given not only the concern for crossing the road for the main trail of the Cape Cod pathways, but also given that the bike path is supposed to be coming in that area. There's new proposals with the expansion of the park and ride. So
which isn't going to happen.
may I ask, have you spoken to Steve Tupper of the Cape Cod Commission about this?
Well, that's my next subject. If I could just
Sure.
hold that for a second.
'Cause I raised that with him.
Because that's an area further south. So did we get to a point of a motion for this intersection?
Yeah, I move that we recommend to the state that they implement your safety improvements as suggested,
Second.
which is a crosswalk.
Yep.
At that location. How's that for a motion, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if the chair can make a motion, but she just did.
If she didn't, I was thinking the same thing. So this is the last little thing. So it came up at the last meeting. I didn't necessarily look at this as a open space committee topic, but I guess it could be related. So this is something that when I was working at the county, I had discussions with the RTA and folks about a few things that could go on at the near the ramps. Because right now, you've got a travel plaza that is attracting pedestrians from the campus. That people want to go get their Whopper or D'Angelo's or whatever, and there's a trail exit right at the Route 132, but it's really not a safe place to cross. You have to be really with your wits about you to get back and forth. The other thing that my idea was, the RTA has a bus service, as many of you might have seen, but it takes a long time sometimes to get from place to place. This bus service travels to Barnstable Village from Hyannis, but it travels the entire loop road around the college. And so it's a very, I shouldn't say boring ride, but it takes a lot of extra time just because that's the one-way loop road. That's how people have to enter and exit the campus. So this concept that I was describing here in the handout was to have a pull-off for the RTA on each side of 132 with a crosswalk that's safe to get back and forth, and then their service could just continue on to Barnstable Village without having to go and enter and go circulate around the entire loop road. It would need some re-engineering of the intersection so the off-ramp doesn't come, the high-speed people making that hard
Because then you
ride.
got the buses
I
and
know.
and
Yeah.
then the people exiting.
So we'd have to make it more of a traditional intersection where people would, have a red light stop and then proceed without, that high-speed move. So I did share this, I've shared it in the past with Steve Tupper and the folks at the commission, and I sent this again before the public meeting. I couldn't attend the public meeting, so they asked to forward it for me to Mass DOT. So in any case, I don't know where it's going to go. The feedback I got from the commission is that the footprint of this park and ride project is limited to that parcel. It's not going beyond.
I think what I was told is the scope of the project was limited to just the park and ride. When I had actually mentioned this, because you have raised this before, and I thought it was a good idea, that this whole area have a broader view for the planned projects, not only park and ride, but like I said, the proposed bike path that's supposed to come into that area. And in general, to make it safer, especially if they're going to be this expanded use of that property. And I still think, and there was a comment made that even the expanded park and ride by 270 parking spaces may someday still not be enough. And the college has underutilized parking. If there was a way that people could if there was a safe
I think
path.
that's why this trail exists. I think people who didn't have room to park at the park and ride were parking and walking across from the college.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah, maybe not at
That's it.
catching a 3:30 in the morning bus in February, it's,
Right.
but,
Well, there's plenty of parking at 3:30 in the morning.
There is. I can park right along the road.
I would say that, this is a very problematic junction right here. And, there was a pretty serious accident on the approach to the on-ramp here earlier this year. And so I think it's definitely a big meal for the DOT, definitely. So
They also need a light in that area.
Yeah.
I know,
Traffic
because
light.
Well, it
people
looks
come
like
in
somebody took
flying
out
off.
the light, too. They've got a temporary one in there.
I always thought they needed
I
one
think
over
if
by
they're
the
going to expand
YMCA.
that lot, they're going to
It's at the
increase
exit.
the amount of
Farther
traffic
down
there,
towards the-
which is then going to, that is not a pedestrian or bicycle-friendly stretch from where the multi-use path ends on Shoot Flying Hill Road all the way, and even at Route 132, sometimes I'll walk that big loop around, and there's no safe way for a pedestrian to get from Route 6A onto Route 132. It's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
And it really is. And anyone who travels through there, and all these people seem to be in a hurry. I don't know where they're going on this little peninsula, but they're in way too much of a hurry.
Well, my other question is, because there's that crosswalk down by the entrance into the college.
Yeah, at the
So-
conservatory, they have a
Right.
crosswalk with
Right.
a push
Yeah,
button.
so but are people not really walking up to that
I
to
think
use
some people
it?
use it,
But
but
more
people always
people
look
take
for
that
shortest
trail.
distance, if they can. If they
Yeah.
think they can make it,
Make it,
they'll avoid walking the extra distance, but I know people would use that, there's a housing development and the conservatory. There's probably some use
Yeah.
of folks doing that back and
If you're on
forth.
college campus, to walk even down that, where people are coming in to, get to that crosswalk, that's not easy either, right?
There's at least sidewalks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah,
There's sidewalks on
yeah.
that section of the ring road.
But if you want people to be able to cross here,
Yeah, right.
they need an overpass, like a
E-
walking, like
oh, yeah,
overpass type
that's
thing would
what I
probably be the easiest thing.
Yeah,
You know, you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
reconfigure anything.
yeah. Well, and I think
safest,
that would
I would think.
probably, yeah. Because there's too much happening right there.
There's way too much, and I mean, I don't even feel like
I'm
that's our
not crossing in
jurisdiction.
front of the
Yeah.
ramp myself.
Yeah,
So,
but I like that.
Is that where you're talking, the
The
ramp?
overpass idea.
But,
You want, are you talking about crossing at the ramp?
this would have a crossing at the ramp.
Oh.
There would be a ramp, one of the ramps would be removed. The slip ramp would be removed. You'd still be able to make a right turn, but you wouldn't be coming in at 40 miles an hour. You would come to the
So
intersection.
you're asking for the intersection to be,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is a big project.
Yeah.
This
okay.
isn't a crosswalk.
Let's do
This is
the bridges first.
I like that. I like Lisa's idea of doing that little overpass.
Yeah, I like the overpass too, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You're hired.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Like the one
farther,
that they
that's
have
going to be
going
on the
over,
other side of Route 6.
Union Street or whatever.
The
that's-
bike path
Yes.
bridge will be on the other side of Route 6.
That's over south of Route 6, right? Yeah.
The bike, we got 4 miles
yeah,
there.
well, but then
But
they
still.
make that part of the
So
bike.
why don't you write something,
Whatever,
Lev, and I'll
but I
look
like
at it.
the concept.
Is that what you were suggesting?
Well, I was just really giving an update of what, I've already shared this right up with the commissioners.
all right.
And Kris was raising the subject, so I shared it with her.
And I raised it at the public hearing.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't know if it's necessarily an open space committee purview. Certainly, we can talk about that.
Anyway. Is there anything else we want to discuss this evening?
Chris Clark.
Chris Clark, do you have an update?
I'll be brief. I think it was about a month ago, the town council president presented a draft new philosophy in writing, and it was discussed at the town council and ultimately voted on and approved. And part of President Felicia Penn's proposal was that past town council presidents have had a philosophy in general, but it was never written down and discussed with the town manager, such as, we prefer not to acquire more open space.
Yep.
So this new philosophy is in writing and was adopted. So we'll see how that goes. And I understand the town manager takes his direction from the town council and town council leadership. So I understand that past town council presidents have had a different perspective, and now we have one in writing.
So does this new
Philosophy?
philosophy, how does it feel about open space?
You know what, I'll share it with you in writing. I apologize for raising it without bringing it with me, but
okay.
I'll send it to all of you so you can see the
Yes,
whole.
it would be nice to circulate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
So is there anything else that you want to discuss with us?
No, other than we're in the budget season, so we're spending taxpayers' dollars.
So hopefully they're putting money into property management, so, land management. So I know it was proposed. I don't know. I know that David Anthony asked for money for land stewardship, so hopefully it's in the budget. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.